Okay, this is Lainey here at Harvick Farms. Greeting from the field out here. You can see all the lovely yarrow. Here is an update though. We have multiple grants that we are coordinating right now and doing, and this is one of the grants. They're doing lovely is really the update. The ginger and the turmeric are finally starting to grow, and we're very excited. That's in between the roses and the lavender. We're working on weed management. The mulch typically works really well for us, but because of the excess rain, the drip irrigation is typically just directly on the plants, so the weeds usually don't get a lot of water during this time. This year is different, and we are getting tons of rain still into July, and I'm so very thankful and will never complain. I just need to do more weed management. So I need to get out there and sweat some more and pull some more weeds. So that project is doing well. Here is a different project that we have going on. You'll see behind me, there is lots of yarrow, and we have peppers and tomatoes and our watermelons. We have gladiolas and lilies and lavender, echinacea, rosemary, basil, all kinds of things in this particular field. And this is part of the Climate Smart grant process. That's what this one is, and it's going great. It's also in conjunction with our elderberry field, which is also, I wish it was a little bit further than where it's at, quite honestly, but we did do some intercropping with garlic, and so that came out well. I've cured it. I'm clipping it here at the farm, and I'll bring it over to the farm, so that'll be ready at the farm stop at Harvick Farms in Cassville. Probably tomorrow. I'll have Joseph take it in. And then I wanted to say that we sent out a produce list email for the first time this week, and we've gotten some great responses. Actually, we've gotten multiple orders today that we were able to fulfill within about an hour because they came in pretty early on, and so that was really exciting. We sold off the bat some zucchini and squash and onions and the blackberries and eggs, and actually had to run from the farm to the farm stop to go take more eggs that the chickens laid this morning because we had a good amount of orders. It was great. It's a fantastic situation, and so I feel like maybe the produce email list is a good thing, and so I'm very excited about that. So if you have any feedback on that, please share with me. I'm always up to gaining some feedback. That's how we're going to be able to improve. Speaking of feedback, we got feedback this week that we needed to make our produce more presentable. I appreciate that. I can take criticism. So we set up our produce wash station a little bit different in the big greenhouse, and so it's much more efficient. So some of the leaves that we actually think are edible and can eat, people were actually not eating them. They felt like they were just feeling like things were wasted. So we are actually taking the time and cutting the leaves and making more presentable. And then we use the leaves and other things so they're not going to waste. And we either compost them, we put those to the chickens, or we take them home and we use them in our salads and so forth. So we hear people's feedback and greatly appreciate it. And that is the progress on that. Some progress with the equipment grant is what I'm going to talk about next. Is we hopefully will get our walk-in cooler in the next month. We're in order to get that cooler in and where it makes sense for the building, because the building is a 30 by 30 building. It is not a super high-tech building, but we want to make it as efficient as possible, and so they're helping us out and getting the quote so we can get that, which will be fantastic, quite honestly, because then the produce that we're getting for ourselves and from L&B Produce and from Bishop Gardens and from folks that needs to be in the cooler and can have a longer shelf life, we will have that because it will be a 6x8 or a 6x6. So we're really excited about that because we'll have a place that we can actually keep things in a cooler and have a little bit of some more stability in the produce, so we can have that a little bit longer. But I will say the produce is kind of moving faster than we expected, so we don't need a cooler as yet. But the hope and the goal is that we're continuing to gain more farmers that are local that can come and sell their stuff out of our farm stop, and we can help sell that stuff. And so we're eventually going to need this cooler space. So we're trying to not just think of the now, but in the future. So we're really excited about that. So what's next on that is the dehydrator. It's a 100 tray dehydrator as well. And so that will be the next piece of equipment after the cooler. I think the cooler is kind of the most pressing situation at this time. And then next is the dehydrator because, sorry, my dog. The dehydrator will come into effect because, as an example, the amount of tomatoes that we're going to have start to come through and the blackberries, for instance, I have a 5-tray dehydrator, and dehydrating the blackberries takes at least 24 to 26 hours. And so it just puts a halt on kind of making those value added products. So but we want to be able not just to have it for ourselves, but for farmers around that could be using the dehydrator as well to make the value added products. So it is a work in progress, but we're really excited because we have to get all this equipment in 6 months anyways. So we've got to hustle, and that's part of the contract agreement in order to get reimbursement. So that's a progress, at least for the equipment grant. And the equipment grant also covers a root washer and an actual produce station, which is a little bit separate as well than on the produce table that we bought at auction. But we also bought some stainless steel tables and stuff that was, out of our own pocket because it will just make sense, the flow and better efficiency and production at our place. So very excited about that. You will also see around the nursery, we are trying our very best because we also heard feedback to keep the place a little bit more tidy. So we have been trying to landscape what we can with the plants that we have and trying to convert all the greenhouses to more of the food production like we've been talking about. So we're getting there. It's a slower pace, but you know what? Slow is steady and steady is fast. So we will get it. We will get it. And so what else is going on? Yes, I'm just very excited about the produce list. It went out at 9 o'clock, and by 11 o'clock, we had 6 orders. So thank you. We'll take it. And it's on a day that we're typically closed at the farm because we have our other day jobs that we have to do. So it really worked out fantastic. And I'm hoping the email produce list that it's just going to be on a weekly basis is helpful for folks. And just like I said, I'm always for feedback. So the commercial kitchen process, it's taking a little bit longer because the reality is that we don't have a ton of capital to build out a wall and to get everything that needs to happen in the office area. And so it's on the list. We will get there. And the hope and the dream is to be able to have half the building converted into a commercial kitchen. And it's probably going to be a galley, small size commercial kitchen, but it would be fantastic because we have folks that want to do value added products, but can't necessarily stay at the farmers market every single time, twice a week. And so that would give them the ability to have it in a commercial kitchen to make their products. And then we can resell it, or they can sell it to Mama Jean's, for instance, or they can sell it to other local farm stops or other stores. And then because they would be outside of that cottage law because they're not physically there selling it. And so they have to have it in a commercial kitchen at that point. So we can provide that something locally because the closest place to do that is over an hour and a half away. And so it's not a feasible option for a lot of folks here in Southwest Missouri. So that's another project. It's on the list. It's going to take a little bit longer than we expected because of the cost of constructions and so forth like that, and making sure we have everything in code. But we're excited. It's on the list. It's on the list. So all in all, the farm process and everything is going pretty well. We haven't really had much pest or disease issues other than some aphids, but man, we got those ladybugs in check. So they're doing their work, and we haven't had issues in weeks. So that's always my go-to if you have issues with aphids is ladybugs or praying mantis. Little chickens, that works great because if they're not laying, you can just put those little chicks in your greenhouse and they will eat all of your lovely grasshoppers and bugs. It's fantastic. So we also had a little bit of an issue with small grasshoppers. So that they knocked them out on one Saturday that we brought 3 little chicks to our greenhouse. So just so you know, that's a great option. I hope everyone is doing well. I wanted to give those quick updates because it's been a few weeks, and if I haven't seen you on the weekend, I figured this is one way to catch up. So I hope everyone is doing well. leave us your comments and feedbacks of what you think is going well or what we think we can improve on. I'm all about that dialogue, and there's always room for improvement. So until next time, here, Lainey at Harvick Farms, and everyone have a great evening.